What is going on, people, and welcome back to the YouTube. So I've been meaning to do this for a very long time. It's been at least, I'd say, 3 months since I posted on YouTube, and so much has happened since. I've been trying and meaning to do this for a very long time, but I've always found a reason not to do it. But here we are. It's, I think, 7 in the morning. We are in Spain, in Marbella, and I'm gonna get back to posting on YouTube regularly. But to start things off, I think it would be a good way to kind of catch up, on what happened since the last video. I think the last video I actually posted was my meetup with all the lads back home, all my clients back in Dublin, and it was a great day. Obviously Christmas came, all of that. It was brilliant. Straight after Christmas, myself and Rachel, we actually went to Dubai for New Year's. Unbelievable. And that's when all the madness kind of happened, literally that night. We came back to the apartment, and the apartment was flooded, and we had to find, I think we moved 3 times in January alone in around Dubai, and again, it just made everything harder, the usual day-to-day stuff, which made, again, getting the camera out and recording a little bit more awkward. And since then I actually had to leave Dubai early because there was issues with my visa, which was a bit of a nightmare. And I flew to Poland, seen my family for the first time, over there for the first time in 2 years, I think, which was great. Obviously nice to do that as well. From there, came to Spain about 8 weeks ago, and here we are for about 2 months now. And I absolutely love it. Absolutely love Spain, love Marbella. It's a great spot, but now we're very much so settled in, have an apartment here for the next couple of months at least. And yeah, I want to get back to posting here regularly, and I'm going to take you along for a full day of living in Marbella as an online coach, and also we have a big diet coming up going into the summer as well, so I'll be making a couple of videos based on that as well. So yeah, every morning I start things off with a about 10-minute walk, just to get the steps up, wake up properly, before I start looking at my phone or anything like it. I think it really sets me up for the day. So every day, start the day with a bit of a coffee and get myself going, and get some messages going from clients as well, from that would have came in either yesterday evening or overnight. And once that is done, I'm gonna get going with check-ins. So it is 10 o'clock, 10:15, and that is majority of the check-ins done for the day. Fridays are usually the quietest days when it comes to check-ins, but there's always a lot to do, regardless of that, whether that's any updates for clients and kind of content stuff as well. So still there's going to be a whole lot more work to do than just finishing up at 10 o'clock. Nevertheless, I'm going to get meal one going now, and I'm gonna have some eggs as usual. I've cut back on carbs a little bit from this meal, so I've no bread, and I'm gonna have a small bowl of oats with that as well as pre-workout, and then we have push and arms on the cards today. Probably my favorite session of the week, so I'm looking forward to that, and I'm gonna take you through it as well. Fortunately, there is no Friday in Spain, and we have to use that oil stuff, and I can only imagine that is about 500 calories. Fucking worth of oil already. Sure, look, here's what it is. The usual for breakfast. I'm gonna have 8 egg whites, 2 whole eggs, and at the moment I'm not having any bread, and a green apple as well. So I'd say one of the biggest benefits, right, of being an online coach or fucking working from home in general is the fact that you can cook fresh meals. I remember I used to absolutely hate having to eat, like, not hate it, but like it was what it was, do you know what I mean? I had to deal with it, but, and I didn't really mind it until, again, I started working from home and cooking meals fresh, and you don't realise how, like, meal prep and eating, you know, sometimes cold chicken and rice and whatever meals that you've had to prepare the night before, they just don't taste as good, unfortunately, but it is what it is. I had to do it for years to be able to now cook meals fresh. A little bit of pepper, a lot of salt on this. Good to go. So here we go. We've got our 2 whole eggs, 8 egg whites, so 10 eggs in total. Green apple, absolutely banging. And one thing I've tried not to do is actually work while I'm eating. So I'll try to switch off a little bit, have a bit of a break. You could say from work. Stick on a bit of YouTube, watch some fucking NBA highlights, something to just kind of switch off from everything. And again, that allows me to then be able to actually switch back on and work at 100%, taking those 15-20 minutes, you know, a little bit of a break, and then I'm back on, and you know, my work is actually a whole lot more productive. Round 2 of the breakfast or the pre-workout meal, and it's very, very simple. 50 grams of oats and 20 grams of honey, just to sweeten it up a little bit. And yeah, in the next hour I'm gonna get back to after this I'm gonna get back to work, get back to some messages, get back to some clients, plan a little bit of content for the weekend, and within the hour I'm going to be leaving to go to the gym by about 12 o'clock. So we are at the gym, currently training at Element. You can actually see the sign in the back there. It's probably my favourite gym in Marbella. I think it just has a good balance of everything, like decent equipment and that little bit of an outdoor section here. You can see it, and so you can hop out and do whatever you want out here. But like, there is, I'd say 4 main gyms in Marbella. Yeah, there is about 4 main gyms in Marbella. Like, Padel Club is just a bit too much. Like, it's like a social club where people just come in, talk. There's not much training going on, and it's an absolute mess. There's the Oyo, where I actually haven't trained. It's a bit of a fancy spot. Haven't trained there yet. I tried to go in, but they wouldn't let us in without a consultation booked in or whatever, so that was a bit of a pain. So I said, look, don't worry about it. And then we have M13, which is good. It's a bit of a dungeon though, and yeah, as I said, Elements has that, you know, best of both worlds. Do you know what I mean? It's a nice outdoor gym, has good equipment, and everything you need to get a good session in. But I'm gonna finish off this little Knocko Caribbean. I'm gonna get into training now, doing my push and arms, so I'll show you a few bits in there as well. So I decided to do a voiceover on my training part of the video, so you're not just sitting there watching me going through my reps, and give you a little bit of my thought process as I'm going through the session. So obviously the first exercise here that we have is a flat dumbbell press, and I'm really at the moment working on building my strength up on this after injuring my shoulder, my left shoulder, over 6 months ago, and it really affected my kind of confidence going into these lifts. But as you can see here, I'm really trying to set my shoulders back and drive my feet into the floor hard, just to make sure that I have that stability there, and I'm able to take the lift through the full range of motion. I think I've gotten about 9 reps on 48 kilos, so I'm happy with that. Going in next into the pec deck, and to be honest, I've been actually playing around with doing isolations like pec deck and lateral raises before the big presses, and I might actually do that moving forward. But on the pec deck, what my main kind of thoughts are is there's a slight bend at the elbow, but I'm trying to meet my elbows in the middle, so contract my chest through that as much as possible to bring my arm across as far as I possibly can, rather than just getting my hands to meet in the middle. And as you can see here in the video, I'm working hard on obviously getting those arms close together, but as fatigue kicks in, you can see that I'm struggling to basically get my hands all the way there. But again, I'm going as far as I can, working till absolute failure on this, and there we go. Next exercise is a standing cuffed lateral raise. So as you can see, I'm putting on cuffs on the opposite side and cross them over, basically stand up tall and lifting away from me at a slight angle. So that is the biggest cue for this exercise, is don't just lift out directly to the side, but lift at a slight angle, and think about lifting the weight away from you rather than just trying to lift the weight up, because that's when you're going to involve a lot of traps when you're trying to lift. So here, think about lifting the weight away from you and basically pointing your fist out to the side as much as possible. So again, I'm trying to lift my elbow up in line with my shoulder. Basically, that's my kind of cue for how high I need to go. And again, as you can see, as the fatigue kicks in, the range of motion drops off, but I'm kind of going for those half reps, which I don't count. Then we have the first exercise of the arm section. So what I'm trying to do here is sit my armpit into the bench as low as I can, so getting rid of any movement from my shoulder. So then all I'm really working on is that bicep. So again, going through a full stretch, holding it for half a second, and then driving up and squeezing the bicep hard. Again, I've been working on improving my arms for the likes of the last year, so this is probably one of the better exercises to do that, because it really gets rid of any movement or momentum from the exercise. You're really just forced to work on the bicep, and bicep work, tricep work, it's fairly straightforward. Just close that gap between your forearm and the bicep itself, but again, you're looking to hit those slight pauses, and just pump as much blood as you possibly can into the arm. So I've done I think 9 or 10 reps each arm, and between, when doing single arm exercises, I'm taking that minute or two between each arm and treating it like it's a set of its own. So even if I have 2 sets of arms, that basically equals 4 sets. So next up we have a easy EZ bar tricep extension. And again, it's pretty simple. All I'm looking to do here is find a bar that lines up my arms in line with my hands, in line with my shoulders. So that gives me that perfect alignment basically to work as hard as I can, to again go from a closed gap between my forearm and basically my shoulder, to then fully extending the arm and flexing the tricep as much as I can, and again working to that failure point. The next is, again, something people don't talk about, is making sessions run smoothly. So I'm basically in the same spot. All I've done was drop the bar down to the bottom, and I'm going straight into EZ bar curls, again putting the hands in the same exact position in line with my shoulders, and then focusing on closing that gap, holding that contraction down for a second, not using any momentum, not swinging around, just making the biceps do all the work, and again pushing myself as hard as I possibly can to reach that failure point. And again, it happens very, very quickly, as this is the second exercise already. So as you can see, I'm struggling here already, and I've about another rep in me, maybe one more. But yeah, it's a nice exercise, and I especially love it because the grip is nice and thick. It doesn't dig into my hand. Same again, staying in the same spot, making the session run smoothly. We have an overhead extension. So what I'm doing here is trying to point my elbows up towards the ceiling and bring my hand as close as I can towards my shoulder to get that tricep fully stretched, holding that stretch for a second, and then again a full extension at the top and a contraction. Most importantly, you know, really squeezing the tricep hard at the top. And again, at this point, fatigue is starting to kick in very, very quickly. I think I've only gotten about 8 reps here, and there you go, I'm struggling already. I know I'm already not getting another rep. Boom, and that's done. Next exercise is basically a sitting down curl with dumbbells, but what I'm doing is I'm on a, I don't know if you can see here through the video, but on an incline bench. It's not an upright position. So what I've done is put it at a slight incline, shifted my hips forward, lifted my chest up to allow my arms to go back behind me slightly to really stretch out the bicep, hold that stretch for a second, and again drive it up for that high and hard contraction. And again, and just, it's all about, when it comes to training arms and biceps specifically, all you've seen me do is go from a preacher curl where my elbow is kept up high, really focusing on that contraction, to keeping my elbow beside my arm, to then bringing my elbow slightly back behind me. And again, it's the 3 angles you can really train your biceps in, hitting them all in one session, working to failure on all 3 sets, or all 3 exercises. And then the last exercise for arms is dips. This is where I was absolutely smoked already. I'd say again, I've gotten on me about 8 reps on bodyweight dips, which is not a lot for me personally. Again, trying to get all the way down. As you can see, I'm shaking already because the fatigue is just so high. Form is, I wouldn't say it's breaking, but again, it's very hard for me to keep up that form there. And again, it was a tough exercise to add in at the end, so potentially I might start this as my first exercise after my lateral raises in the future, just because I'll be able to get a lot more out of it. And as you can see, 8 reps in, failed already. And here is a little physique update for you. Again, as I said, I'm 3 weeks in to my diet at the moment. Currently, you know, we are mid-April, so started off nice and early so I can get in shape early enough. And again, just going through a couple of poses here. I think I'm in decent enough shape. I think coming in at about 100 variation in between 100 and 101 kilo. Decent enough shape. You can still see I have a good bit of body fat left, especially in the lower back, but we'll get there. And finishing this session off with 30 minutes of cardio on the Stairmaster, level 5, nice and consistent, not going up, not going down, and that is the session done. So we are finished training. Literally went home, showered, and straight back out the house. Post-workout today is going to be a bit of an off-plan meal. We're going to ground, probably my favourite place to eat. It's definitely my favourite place to eat in Marbella. And yeah, I'm going to get a bit of a poke bowl. And yeah, it's going to be a nice meal, easily fitted into my calories for the day, since we are on a diet and things are a little bit more strict. I'm not kind of going off plan without taking account for it, if that makes sense. So again, we're going to adjust calories, make sure the rest of the day is on point, and enjoy the meal. And we still have to go and do a bit of shopping, and it's Good Friday, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Good Friday, so I would say 90% of the shops in Spain are closed. So we know that there's one shop that will be open. We need a few basic bits. So
need some toilet roll.
Yeah, that's it.
For Ben, literally. How'd you find driving over here?
Grand. Driving is fine, to be honest with you. I prefer it over driving in Ireland. I feel like over here, like, the people just don't care. They don't use indicators. They're just whoever's first goes. You know what I mean? They don't have a problem. They just kind of go with the flow. Where at home, everyone's going slow. Everyone's complaining. And yeah, I just feel like it's fairly straightforward over here. Do you know what I mean? They don't be messing. They just do. Everyone does their thing, and it's grand.
No.
So here we have the poke bowl. There is a little bit of sushi rice underneath there somewhere. But yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable. Brown, can't go wrong.
What's the green stuff? This.
I think it's algae, whatever it is, seaweed.
Right.
It's actually nice.
Should have asked it without it.
Yeah, it's nice. What is going on, lads? So it is currently the next day. Yesterday evening turned out being pretty quiet. We got back to the apartment, finished up that last bit of work. Had a few calls with clients, and nothing major really happened. So I kind of forgot to pick up the camera and start recording, but nevertheless wanted to finish off the video. And yeah, it'll be good to obviously get this going again. And yeah, I'm looking forward to posting videos regularly again. As I said, I'm going into my diet, or I'm actually 3 weeks now. Three weeks into a summer diet, and everything is going great. So I'll be making a few updates around that, a few more educational videos as well as to how you can do it yourself. So yeah, it'll be a good few weeks ahead. Looking forward to just kind of staying consistent with this now moving forward. And yeah, thank you very much if you made it this far in watching the video.